Next fight, co-main event of the evening. What a shock. What a shock. I mean, I kind of called it. I wish I said predict these things on the fucking button.
Oh, do we have it? You didn't?
No, I didn't. I should have.
It would have been really ironic if I hit the I predict these things button for the fight that I chose against Conor.
Yeah, well, you should have.
Yeah.
That would have been sweet. I should have put that on the board next time. But, you know, I did say Michael Chandler was going to come in and shock us. I just didn't think he'd do that. March Dan Hooker down, throw massive right hands to the body, hurt him to the body, obviously.
Let's put something in perspective here, too. Let's not forget, fighters like Paul Felder could not finish Dan Hooker. Went to war with him. People like Dustin Poirier could not finish Dan Hooker. Michael Chandler walks in there in the first round and puts him to bed.
Dude, that was so impressive to march him down like that.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Put the pressure on him to keep him going backwards. That's how you're going to have to beat Dan Hooker. If Dan Hooker's marching forward, you're fucked. You're fucked. And he ate multiple calf kicks, walked through them, and to land the right hand up top, dude, he was throwing with heat from hell, from fucking Satan himself, dude.
Wow.
He's a Christian. He probably would. Yeah, he would not like me saying that. He's like, no, I disavow that guy. Never interviewing him.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, we're never getting Chandler on the podcast.
No, friend of the show, by the way.
Good work. Yeah, no joke.
No, but anyways, dude, he was throwing from hell.
Yeah,
there's so much heat behind those punches to land one up top to set up that left hook. It was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch.
There's not a better way to have your introductory fight in the greatest organization in the fight world than what Michael Chandler put on today against a top 5 guy, I think technically top 6, whatever. Top 5, top 6 guy, and to put out a performance like that, as I had just mentioned, some of the most elite fighters in this division couldn't even put away this guy, and he put him away in the first round. Like, man, high ups on Michael Chandler. I am so excited for his next fight. I do believe... despite a lot of the critics and stuff saying that, oh yeah, he deserves the next title shot, I think he's got to win one more before he gets the title shot because
let's go into that.
Because this lightweight division is so incredibly stacked, and there are men before Michael Chandler who deserve that shot. One is Charles Oliveira. You don't win 7 or 8 fights in a row in the lightweight division and then say, oh, this guy won one fight and gets to leapfrog him. Keep in mind, beautiful performance. Michael Chandler looked phenomenal, and I'm so happy for him. Like, I really am. But he doesn't deserve the next title shot. Let's talk about what I know you want to bring up. I can hear my ears ringing. You want to bring this up, so go ahead. With the whole Dustin Poirier thing?
Yeah, well, he called out Dustin.
Yep.
Dustin comes out and says, I don't want Michael Chandler. I'm not interested in that fight. He's not going to come in and beat a guy that I just beat and get a title shot off of that. He goes, no. He goes, I'm technically the champion right now. That's the way I feel. I don't think Khabib's coming back. I'm the champion. I felt like this fight should have been for a title. And I understand his thinking. I really do. People are calling for the Poirier-Chandler fight. People are calling for that right now. Ariel Helwani is calling for that. It's the most talked about fight on Twitter as we speak. That's the fight people want. They're very, very high on Michael Chandler. And, I mean, can you be shocked? Dan Hooker was the guy. Everyone thought Dan Hooker was going to come in and show that there was levels to this in the striking. And for Michael Chandler to march him down in the first round and put him away that quickly, I understand why people are clamoring, but I do agree with you.
Yep.
I do not think he gets a title shot. I don't think he quite deserves it. I think he really, yes, one more fight. Dustin Poirier wanted Chandler to fight Oliveira. I agree with you in the point. I think that's the fight they make is Dustin Poirier versus Charles Oliveira for the vacant lightweight title.
Yes.
That's the fight to make.
Yep.
There really is. I say you do Justin Gaichi versus Michael Chandler for the number 1 contender.
Yep.
That's the fight to make. Or you do a Michael Chandler versus... I mean, let's pull up the rankings.
Rafael Dos Anjos has been on the up and up. I think,
but
Rafael
he's only
Dos
had
Anjos,
one win in the division so far.
Yes, I know. And same with Michael Chandler. So it's like
that's it. It's Justin Gaethje.
How do you play that? It has to be
Justin Gaethje. It has to be
Gaethje
for a number 1 contender, right?
Yeah, because Khabib's not coming back.
No.
Like I want everyone to know that on this podcast. You know, the biggest fight that they wanted to make was that Conor 2 fight. They wanted to make that.
Yeah.
Khabib versus Conor 2. Habib knows that he could beat Conor again, no problem. And he knows he would cash in another at least $50 to $100 million.
Yeah.
So with that said, that fight's off the table now. Khabib Nurmagomedov will vacate his belt within, I'm going to predict, by April.
It's sooner than that, dude. Sooner than that. I'd say
I think they'll
fucking
fuck around
next
for a little
month.
bit. I know, but did you watch the post fight? Did you hear what Dana said?
No.
In the post fight? Okay, so he goes, well, these two just fought, so I'm not going to worry about it for a while. That tells me that he's
They're
not
going to let him hold the
strip
belt.
it.
Just watch. They're going to be like, all right, Conor, fight Nate Diaz, and if you win, you can fight Khabib again.
Yeah, I know. Maybe.
There's like, you just get one win. Dustin's like, what the fuck?
Trying to get that fight. No, but I think realistically, I'll tell you why April as well, too. In the Muslim faith, you have this thing called Ramadan.
That's right, and that's
which
when
is
it
in
ends.
April, and I think he will vacate by then, by April, because he's not going to hold the belt all the way to the fall. And
All
then
the way
book
into
a fight
and then
fight in
and then fight
2022.
after Ramadan. Yeah,
not
after
happening.
the summer.
Yeah, Ramadan is in April, and then boom, he will vacate by then. I do love that though. Let's do Chandler versus Gaichi for the #1 contender on the same card, even.
Yes, as Dustin Poirier.
Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier
For the vacant title. I think that's the way it's got to be. Dustin Poirier, he's really, truly the #1 contender. Let's be real. Really, truly #1 contender versus Oliveira. 8-fight winning streak. You got to do it. It's the only fight to make.
I like
really
it.
Is.
I love
What do we do with Conor then? I mean, that leaves him out there. There's got
so
fights.
many options.
There's so many options. Dustin
so
was
many
saying that he's even open to a third Conor fight. You know, they are 1-1. That we know that's the rematch. Do we know how much Dustin Poirier made?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I mean, can you
idea at all.
assume it's like Cowboy, get the
Probably
200K?
200K. Yeah.
If that's what it
probably
is,
all he
that's
got.
such a fucking slap in the face again.
But he does have the championship clause, so we know he's making at least championship money. So he probably got a little on the top. That's a different scenario than Donald Cowboy Cerrone because he was never champ, so he never had that in his clause.
So maybe he was in on the pay-per-view a little bit or
yes,
something?
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he did get a few pay-per-view points. He probably got the same pay, but then he's getting points on top of that, some sort of percentage.
Hopefully he made $1 million, at least. You know, if he doesn't make at least $1 million.
He deserves it.
Right?
He's the uncrowned champ.
Let's
right
be real,
now.
he deserves $10 million for that fucking fight.
he does.
If Conor's making $10 to $15 million a fight, fucking Dustin at least deserves 5 or 6.
So let's talk about that because you brought up Conor McGregor. Where does Conor go next? We said he has a ton of options. The first one that just sticks out in my mind, Nate Diaz said he wanted to drop down to 155, and start fighting at lightweight again. That's the fight you got to make. Let's make that as a trilogy fight. I believe Nate's coming off a loss as well, so it's like, this works.
Perfect.
It's perfect. It is perfect for both of them. There's so much hype, so much publicity you can make, and you make that a pay-per-view.
And there's still a top 5 guy with a win in that situation. There's such big names. They're just going to elevate right to the top again.
Yeah, I really love the Nate Diaz trilogy. I think that's the fight to make. That's my #1. My #2, I know this one won't happen. We were talking about it on the Fight Companion a little bit, and it makes a lot of sense. Jorge Masvidal hits like a truck, and he's at 170, and Conor's a small 170. But you do have that option.
They're about the same size.
So is Jorge,
I think.
but so is Nate Diaz. I mean, Nate Diaz isn't thick. He's long and lengthy, but he's not thick by any means.
Yeah.
And he did fight Jorge Masvidal. So it's not outside of the realm of possibility is all I'm trying to say here. But you could have Conor fight for the BMF belt against Jorge Masvidal, and I'm telling you right now, mark my words, if that fight were to ever happen, it would do 2.8 to 3.1 million buys. Dude, Jorge Masvidal,
bigger than Khabib McGregor.
unquestionably. Jorge Masvidal is a huge fucking star. He almost did 2 million pay-per-view buys, and that pay-per-view outside of that fight, can you tell me? You tell me how great that card was outside of that?
Yeah, it was 3 title fights.
Yeah, but can you tell me who? That's what's crazy.
Jan and Jose Aldo and
That's
Volkanovski Holloway.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had to think about that for a second. I really did, but that's a good point. Maybe you shouldn't have had to think because really, other than that, that was the one we were buying. And that was one we were most hyped for.
Yep.
Everyone was like, does Jorge have a chance? On a week's notice, he's cutting that much weight, blah, 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 talking points. We've been into that. Yeah, I agree. That's a great fight as well. But, more realistically, I think Conor's probably staying 155. I like the Nate Diaz fight as well. But really, the name that's sticking out to me, and I think they both deserve it.
I know.
Tony El
Tony
Kukui Ferguson versus Conor McGregor. I don't think Conor ever takes that fight, but that's the fight to make. That is the fight to make, in my opinion. That's the one that screams out to me. Is it as big as Nate Diaz 3? Probably not, just because Nate is the guy in so many casuals' eyes. But it should be Tony Ferguson. That's the Nate Diaz fight on steroids, in my opinion.
Here's the problem that I have. You asked me that question a year ago, I'd say, fuck yeah. That's the fight that we probably should have made 2 years ago or 18 months ago, right? Here's the issue that I have. Tony Ferguson is coming off 2 straight losses now.
to top competitors, future title shot.
Of course. But, at the same time, he got dominated against Charles Oliveira.
Yeah,
there were 2 10-8s.
Top competitors. I have to put that out there, though.
Okay, so, yeah, I mean, top competitors, yeah, sure. But, I mean, you were completely outclassed in the one thing you were supposed to be the best at. Right? The one thing that people said, hey, he could compete against Khabib because, his jiu-jitsu, 10th planet jiu-jitsu. I mean, I was on that train. I was talking about it all the time. And then he gets dominated in the one spot where he's supposed to be the strongest. So for me, I'm not a fan of that fight. That would be my low tier fight because Tony Ferguson is coming off 2 straight losses, and that's not a fight I really want to see right now. I'd like to see Tony get a win. I got to see him rebound, and who knows if his head is even in the right spot to take on such a massive fight like Conor McGregor. Because I was saying this before the knockout happened, there's a different type of pressure with these fighters when they fight a guy like Conor McGregor. We have seen it. We saw it against Cowboy. Cowboy kind of froze. We saw it against Jose Aldo, Eddie Alvarez, and Dustin Poirier to a certain extent in the first round. Dustin did by no means look terrible, but he looked a little off. His timing was a little off. And he actually even said, did you hear him? That he said he felt flat while he was warming up for the fight.
Yeah, he said he was nervous as fuck. Yeah, and then he said once he got into it, he was in the moment, and that's what he needed to be.
That's where I sit with Tony Ferguson in that fight. Is I just think it's too much for Tony right now, and we know the 3 strikes you're out kind of thing, and I know Tony Ferguson wouldn't.
I disagree 100,000% on that.
How though? People are already calling for Tony Ferguson to retire, and it's not just no, dude. It's not just casuals. Like there's a lot of people out there who are like, I don't know, Tony's past his prime. He's never gonna get a title shot.
He's never gonna be like, he's never gonna. He should both though. I mean, other than I guess we'll see. Is he still a top 5 guy? I think so. He's number 5 in the world. I think he's very competitive against most guys. I mean, what do we do with Tony then? We put him up against a Gregor Gillespie?
You know who I'd like to see
up
him
against
fight?
like an Ally Quinta or a Kevin Lee or something?
I'd like to see someone a little lower. Yeah.
I mean, I love those fights, but they don't have name recognition. Like, I mean, I guess that's a main event of a fight night, I guess, but I don't know. I want to get Tony paid. And I'm saying Conor McGregor fight because that's Tony's biggest payday, in my opinion.
And I hear you. And like I'm the same way. I mean,
I don't want to feed Tony. I don't want to feed Tony up to RDA right now. Which he fucked RDA up. Let's be real. Yeah. He really did. But I just don't want to see that fight.
Right.
I'm just uninterested. So really, it's Tony Ferguson, Conor for me. That's the names that scream at me. Or maybe a Neil Dariush or something. Who knows?
Yeah, I think the one that makes the most sense would be
Nate Diaz. Yeah, and he's not even ranked. He's not even ranked, and it's Conor's best chance of really getting another win, I think.
Yep.
Or I guess Tony's a good chance as well. Who knows? There's so many options for everyone at lightweight, and it kind of just opened up the whole division. I can't wait till we get a new title fight going. I really hope it is that Dustin Poirier Charles Oliveira because that's the fight I really want to see right now.
Yeah.
I really, really want to see that now because Dustin Poirier is no joke on the ground either. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but there are levels of this, and Charles Oliveira's striking is getting better and better and better every single day, and he's only been more and more impressive. Very excited for the future of this lightweight division, dude.
Absolutely.